Welcome to the Dissolutions podcast, brought to you by the Goethe Institute Ukraine. This series features artists from Eastern Europe, the Baltics, the South Caucasus, and Central Asia, reflecting on their work, local contexts, and what it means to be an artist today. The podcast is part of Dissolutions Decolonial Encounters, a program exploring post-colonial practices across art, culture, and civil society.
Multidisciplinary artist Dariya Temirkhan was born in Almaty, Kazakhstan's cultural center, but moved with her family to the country's western region at an early age. She grew up in Ural, a city on the border with Russia. As a teenager, Dariya returned to Almaty to pursue her dream of becoming an artist. She studied at the Almaty College of Decorative and Applied Arts, named after Oral Tensekbayev, where she met her teacher and mentor, established Kazakh artist Nurboul Nurkmed.
He was really strict, but at the same time he was really happy if we were able to do our own experiment. So he taught all his students how to make collage, to be able to understand painting more deeply. And this is how I started my journey with collages, because it was like against the academic painting. I felt like I need something more rebellious to myself.
Reflecting on her practice, Dariya said that academic painting was difficult for her to follow. So collage gave her the freedom to explore expression and remain true to herself. She also pointed out that academic painting is less flexible in representing modern life.
But at the same time, it's really old story. It's really hard to do academic painting about our modern life, our contemporary life, because it isn't committed with each other anymore. That is why we have a new media, I think, because it's more about us.
The experience of belonging to a people and culture once colonized has influenced Dariya deeply. Through her art, she often reflects on how one can decolonize oneself and on the past, present, and future of Kazakhstan.
Decolonization, I think it is about accepting yourself in every kind of way, accepting every part of Kazakhstan, every part of people in Kazakhstan. So it will be the first move to decolonization. There is sometimes a projection that Kazakh-speaking people don't think about Russian-speaking people. Russian-speaking people don't think about Kazakh-speaking people. There's two bubbles that not connecting with each other. And at the same time, all the people in Kazakhstan more think about how others will think about us. And maybe we should just focus on talking with each other. So I really would be happy to make art in Kazakhstan rather than focusing to explaining myself to the Western countries.
On social media, Dariya creates memes about everyday life told by cats in the Kazakh language. Musik Dariya, Dariya the cat, is her alter ego that resonates with many young people in Kazakhstan.
This is my alter ego. I'm just behaving like a cat, and I feel like I'm a cat, and I did have several cats back in the days in my hometown. Now my father take care of them. I love cats, and it was just easy because there's plenty memes on English or in Russian with cats, but it was no on Kazakh. And my soul just asked to make this Insta page with Kazakh meme, because there's a language specifics in Kazakh language that really hard to translate to other language. And I just combined this, and I like this. I like to have this meme account because it's like my alter ego, and I felt like there is way to the people heart through this meme account. And it's mostly just my diary. If I feel happy, I will post something about that I'm happy. If I feel sad, I post something that I feel sad, or I'm broke, or etc., etc. Yeah, I'm still a Kazakh girl, and this is what I am.
In her art, Dariya avoids speaking for everyone and instead focuses on her own feeling about what is happening in Kazakhstan. Sometimes these feelings are not optimistic, especially after January 2022, when mass protests shook the country, Her first personal exhibition, Tunuzbuttu, Shortness of Breath in Kazakh, was dedicated to those events.
I just feel hopeless, and I felt this hopelessness when we did the exhibition with Aida about January events, and I still feel hopeless because I don't think the situation is getting any better. And I feel hopeless when I'm reading history, and this hopelessness is just like a burden, and it's never faded away. It's like your shadow is following you. This is the only feeling that I feel.
In times of despair, solidarity and mutual learning become especially valuable. The Dissolution's residency in the Baltic states came just in time for Dariya.
I felt in love with Estonia. This is the most beautiful country that I saw. I didn't saw a lot of countries, but I did fall in love with Estonia. And the most interesting part for me was that they was part of Soviet Union, but they are free to tell that it was traumatic for them. And they're making museums, they're making exhibitions, they don't forget about their traumatic experience and not hiding it, not shaming of this. They're so openly speak about this. I was shocked, and it is every Baltic state. It was like looking for alternative Kazakhstan because they're part of the Europe, they have a different background, but this part when they was in Soviet Union, they making museum after this, like it wasn't good. It wasn't pleasant experience. We didn't like it. I think we 100% should learn from Baltic state.
The freedom to critically evaluate the recent past is something modern Kazakhstan still lacks. Both the colonial era and the Soviet period remain sensitive topics under censorship.
Every 10 years for Kazakhstan it was a traumatic experience, but we still don't speak about this openly. When someone's trying to say that it wasn't good, some people be like, no, this is where my youth years were going. I was so happy to be the part of pioneers, and etc., etc.
Dariya is very inspired by the way Baltic states' governments are openly acknowledging traumatic pasts. Not hiding it, but remembering it. Unlike in Central Asia, where ties with Kremlin remain strong. The duality between people's lived experience and official narratives is confusing. Yet, she sees change ahead as demography shifts.
And there is more Kazakh-speaking people right now, and they becoming even more and more Kazakh-speaking people in Kazakhstan is now most of the population. But at the same time, there's always a minority in every country. And I think we just need to take an example from the country that make a great job and included minorities to the conversation. I'm the one who was born, I'm like Zoomer. I was born in 2000s. I really hope that other generations would never ever think that Moscow is something beautiful. They would never thought that Russian is the main language in this world. I hope that they would never read the Kazakh history and think that it was our fault to experience this. And I really hope that there is a changing.
Intizor Otaniyozova defines herself as a Central Asian artist going beyond national borders. She works across the region but mostly resides in Almaty, Kazakhstan. Identity, movement, and belonging are central themes in her art, which she explores through the lenses of ecology and feminism. In her practice, Intizor also challenges the very concept of the nation-state.
My practice is about identity and also a bit about ecology and feminism. The best way to describe it is through my biggest project I'm working on right now. It's my documentary called Ashes to Ashes, Statelessness. Well, it's a form of road trip through Central Asia with focus on stateless people in Central Asia and especially about Uyghurs. On this road trip, I'm thinking about what is Central Asia today and how identity forms, how countries and borders shape us, and what will be the future.
The name of the project is an homage to Beyoncé's album Lemonade. The American performer has played a huge role in Intizor's life since she was 13. In fact, she inspired her to pursue an artistic path.
Her music changed so much in my life and in the way how I think about myself in general. I mean, I was inspired by her so much. I never thought of myself as an artist, even though I always loved creative things and I was write from an early age. After COVID, things changed a lot. We all were in lockdown online. I just randomly applied to this art school courses and I got accepted. From the first lesson, it all clicked. It's like I finally was in my place and I finally was doing what I was supposed to do my whole life.
Intizor mostly worked with video as her main medium, but she also points out that writing is important to her. She has been writing poetry and fiction since childhood. At the same time, she is not ready to shut down other mediums and ways of expression. Meeting artists from around the world and learning about their practices inspired her to stay open.
I got so inspired by the practice of other artists because I never go to the art school, all those things that usually artists try in the university. I never got a chance to do that. I studied finance for some reason. It was always in the back of my mind. I want to try this and this and this, but I was always I don't have time right now. I'm not qualified enough and stuff like that. Now I feel like maybe I should give it a try. Hopefully in the future, I will explore new mediums for myself.
In 2024, Intizor took part in the Dissolutions residency in the Baltic states. Unlike many residencies, this time, artists did not have to create work, an approach she found refreshing. The focus was on building connections across countries and cultures.
Here it's about networking and about visiting, being in a new place. It was really great and new experience to me. So first of all, I was really surprised how different USSR was in our region and in the Baltic region. They speak about same historical figures. They speak about same years. But at the same time, for them, it was different. It was really interesting to see how we approach our history differently, but also same at the same time. It's really strange feeling. To me, it was really eye-opening how art institutions work. The art scene in general is more developed. To see all these big museums, kind of big everything, was really great. The most important part for me was to talk with other residents, with the people that we met, because they all were artists or curators and really interesting people in general. Even though we all share this USSR past, let's say, but at the same time, they don't know much about us, we don't know much about them. We both know about USSR, but other than that, we actually don't know each other. So it was really nice to actually speak. That was, I guess, my main outcome.
When the conversation turns to decolonization, Intizor admits the concept is not simple for her. Her reflections come from a very personal place. Both of her parents belong to stateless nations, people who hold passports but do not possess their own sovereign state. This background shapes her understanding of belonging, identity, and what it means to speak about decolonization in Central Asia.
For me, this idea of decolonization, I never can actually embrace it because both of my parents, they belong to the stateless people. Of course, they are citizens of countries. They have passports and documents, but they don't have their own countries. A country they would belong to their ethnicities for various reasons. So for me, I feel decolonization process is tricky one because basically when you are stateless, even though you have all papers or legal stuff, it always feel you are guests, you never actually can belong to this place. So maybe for Central Asian region in general, colonization process stopped. But for stateless people, I feel like the colonization process will never start because you never have a place of your own, then you always have to assimilate to the custom of others. I'm not saying it's like a bad thing, but still it's like slow process that mainly invisible.
Beyond questions of decolonization, Intizor also challenges the very idea of the nation-state. In her view, the concept of countries is rooted in imperialism and control rather than belonging. She sees it as outdated and even selfish toward nature, which cannot belong to just one species. Instead of dividing land and people with borders, she believed humanity should be working together on shared problems.
There are like around 3,000 ethnicities. Well, actually, I think even more. And only around 200 countries. Majority of the world are actually without their own countries. Majority of the world are stateless people. So to me, it's like really strange when basically the world order is dictated by minority of the people. And actually, majority of the voices are not included in this process at all. I'm not sure that building all those borders and all the stuff will actually help us because we should be uniting, we should be working together because we have like so many issues that we should work on collectively. Exploiting this idea of countries more and more doesn't make sense to me.
Intizor resists labels, preferring not to be defined by geography or identity. Yet, she admits that such labels often shape how others perceive her work, especially abroad, where Central Asia is still little known. This visibility brings both opportunities and limitations, and she reflects on the tension between being recognized as a voice from the region and her desire to move beyond borders.
I really try not to put any labels on myself, but of course I realize that the reason why I was invited to this residency is because like I have certain labels on myself already, even though I don't want to admit them sometimes maybe. How they perceived us, that we are from Central Asia. It is the region that was invisible for the longest time. And right now people like, okay, so where is Central Asia? It's quite big, but we actually don't know anything about Central Asia. It's like a big advantage, but also disadvantage, because whatever I'll do in other countries, first of all, for them, I'm someone from Central Asia. I wish I was post-Central Asia, I was post any geography, but I understand my position. I'm like quite emerging still. This is how it works. And I hope that it will change with time. I think this is fine as far as it not put my practice in some borders.
For Intizor, art has always been a way to model the future, to imagine alternatives and sketch out better worlds. She sees this as a part of her responsibility as an artist. Yet, looking around today, she observes a different trend. The growing wave of nationalism, a sense of crisis, and a collective difficulty in picturing a hopeful tomorrow.
I'm not traveling that much, but still this is what I noticed in other countries as well. Rise of nationalism. I feel like this is a problem of scientists and artists as well, because this is my job to imagine a better future, to propose alternatives. Sadly, I just can't understand what can be the best working solution that we live in at the moment. It's really hard to imagine future when you feel future won't happen. There's so much tragedies going on and it looks like it's just gonna be worse. So under these circumstances, it's really hard to imagine something better, something positive actually.
Ultimately, Intizor brings the focus back to something more human than borders. Beyond politics and geography, what truly matters are the ties we build with one another.
The connections with humans, like with other person in general, they are always not about borders and not about countries for sure. You usually don't think about it when you talk with someone.
You've been listening to the Dissolutions podcast, brought to you by the Goethe Institute Ukraine. In our upcoming episode, we'll share the story of Alima Tokmirgenova and Katya Buchatska.